Twin Cities Audit, folks, where we audit the police and the culture. So today we're going to take a closer look at this situation with the Wisconsin deputy. If you haven't heard of the man who ultimately went on to be shot by this deputy, we're going to go ahead and do some commentary as we go through this. I think there are plenty of lessons to be learned, and it's unfortunate that a man ended up senselessly losing his life. But for those of us who are here, let's take some lessons from this.
Seriously? No. Stop it right here! Stop it right here! I swear to God! Get! Oh my God!
It was a quiet June day in Genoa, Wisconsin, until a call for a welfare check would soon turn into a violent confrontation for these officers. What happened next would also be controversial, as questions swirled as to whether officers met the legal threshold to detain the subject prior to the tragic incident. Officers were called to check on 61-year-old William Boardman, who had been showing signs of severe paranoia worsened by meth use. His daughters said they hadn't seen him since 2022, and he had been unstable and erratic, with worsening mental health. They said his escalating meth use led to hallucinations, bizarre behavior, and fits of rage where he damaged the home. Under these increasingly tense circumstances, William was about to meet Deputy Bradley Brueggemann, and what followed would leave the small town forever changed.
Hey, well,
Okay, real quick. So when these officers come up, and we need to be aware of this, at some point, it's predicted that all of us will have at least one encounter with the criminal justice system. So it would be behoove us to understand and know how to best navigate. So a couple of things in mind. What the officer hears when they come up, what they're expecting when they come up is important to how to best handle and how to engage the situation. So the background story that this particular deputy got was that there was this guy's having a mental health episode, basically fueled by meth use. And he hasn't been seen for a year. And so this deputy has that as the background as he's coming up to deal with this situation. Now when we encounter police, what they're expecting based on what they heard or what call they got, if we have access to that information, if we have any kind of awareness of what they could have possibly been called for, we would do well to engage them with understanding that they have some kind of a preconception as to what to expect, and how to engage you as they deal with the matter.
William? You can take them out. Hey, William, why don't you hold up for 1 second? Explain to me what's going on.
They left.
Can you guys step inside for a second while I talk to
They
him?
left supposedly.
Thank you.
I want their out. They my house up. They have all my tractors, my vehicles, everything. I want them out of here.
Who's they? Just those two?
Up there.
Hey, William, where are you going?
I'm gonna go try and find a hat and some underwear that I could wear that they stole all my clothes.
Okay. Are you grabbing it out of this truck up here? All right. Well, I'm just gonna come. Is that okay if I walk with you?
Go ahead. You can check every damn thing you want.
Well, I don't need to look through anything.
Well, what do you do? What do you want to go to the truck for if you're not gonna check it?
Oh, I just want to make sure you're not going anywhere.
Why? I got
Yeah,
a driver's license. I'm legal.
Okay.
Insurance, everything.
But William, with what?
Very important point here. Here, this man said, the deputy was like, I just want to make sure you're not going anywhere. And the man said, why? Very important point that he stood up for his freedom. And he highlighted that. I got everything I need, license, insurance, and whatnot. Even though legality of that has been debatable for some time, but okay, he submitted to that. He's giving you your taxes for all of those things. Okay, and still you're trying to tell this man you want to make sure that he's not going anywhere. Right on for him for standing up and catching that point.
What I just walked up on, I want to know what's going on.
I want them to leave.
Okay.
Simple as that. I'm not doing anything. He's in my house sleeping.
Okay.
I can't
Well-
find my hat, can't find my underwear. Sold everything. Fucking only reason the grass is cut is because they did it with a damn push mower because they my tractor.
Okay.
They turned off the electricity. They got electricity because they switched it in their name and shut mine off. I'm sick of all this.
And they sold all your stuff, like your underwear?
Yes, they did. You're aware of it. Don't play stupid. I'm done fucking around.
Despite the deputy's efforts to understand Boardman, he was vague in his answers and obviously enraged.
Do you feel like there's some mental on or anything? Does he own any weapons? No firearm? Okay. Has he talked about harming himself or others? So any diagnosed medical condition? Okay. So can I grab your information? What's your phone number? Okay. For right now, can you guys maybe take off? Because that's kind of what he's requesting, and I'll try and talk to him. And
You ain't gonna fuck me. You already know.
I'm not entirely sure. What's going on.
Taking me up, and I ain't going to jail. And I don't get police escort. I turn the lights on. They come in. They
I'm
what to me, please.
Honeybook keeps your proposals, contracts, invoices.
Wrong. Motorcycle parts are changed, shocks are rot. I'm sick of it.
So William, I told them they're gonna take off right now.
Yeah, thanks.
One quick point here I want to pay attention to, that this is supposedly at least his daughter and one other person, and they're talking to the deputy in hopes to try to get him to, it seems, talk some sense into her father and whatever's going on. Truthfully, I mean, the guy curses like a sailor, and rather we agree or disagree with his lifestyle or whatever's going on, I haven't seen or heard anything that really indicates that he's high or out of his mind, incapable of functioning or anything of that nature. Right? Like nothing that just jumps out like, okay, this is for sure, and we really need to intervene or something of that nature. And until now, he hasn't spoken to this man William about anything related to a crime having been committed. Very, very important point there to note. William, one might say, well, he doesn't have to be so rude and dismissive to the officer, even though the officer's clearly really making an effort to try to establish rapport with this man. I can tell you right now, that officer can stand to use some training. Motivational interviewing would be a good start. Would be a good start.
So
Yeah,
can we maybe have
No.
a conversation, please, William?
yeah. Get out of my.
Well, can you explain the situation to me? How you
Yeah.
said they're
You threw your hand and wand and all that shit. And fucking this old lady come and get
okay.
my ass.
Okay,
Who's in now? Yeah. Sounds crazy, don't it?
no? Who's? I don't know the whole situation. That's why if you could explain it to me.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. Excuse me. I gotta get some food because my refrigerator's electric's
Were
on.
you?
All my food's
What's
spoiled.
William? What's going on?
I don't need. You know it all.
No,
And if
William.
you don't know it all,
William.
then I can't make a report because you guys won't open up your door. Excuse me.
William. That's why.
Excuse me, please, officer.
William.
You are stopping me from going on my property, and I'm not doing nothing wrong. So I've got to go.
You're
I'm
William.
low on gas.
William.
I got to put gas in.
William. I need to talk to you. I'm asking. Please talk to me.
No.
Is there a reason you don't want to?
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Okay. Again, I can see how someone could watch this video and say, "Oh, well, you know, he really wasn't respectful to the officer and whatnot." And I'll say again, he doesn't have to. He's at his home. He was sleeping. Regardless of whatever dysfunctions or what his situation is with his family or whatever's going on and this and that, rather we like it, agree with it, understand it or whatnot, that's not what's important. And that shouldn't be important to that officer either. Now, I understand, and many people have been taken out behind this welfare check situation that gives an officer some uh, leeway here to kind of like overstep the bounds in the name of trying to assess the mental health of a person and this and that. Until now, again, no mention of any crime. The man wants to go on his way. He said, "Excuse me." He said he wasn't interested in talking, and that's it. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to talk. He just doesn't. You know, he has a right to remain silent. For those who don't know, okay, the police are not your friends, people. The police are not your friends, people. I'll say again, the police are not your friends. Okay, it doesn't mean that you have to be rude and condescending and dismissive and whatnot, right? I'm not saying that. The reality is, though, that they are not your friends. And everything that you say can and will be used against you. Least we forget.
What? St. John 2723. 20 a plate. Sam John 2723. Sam John 2723. What is going on? Okay, as far as like they're shutting all of his utilities off. Yeah, he's headed northbound on 35 right now. If you can try and get a stop on him, but I have a take off on you. Stop right now, lights and sirens. All right, so someone else just pulled him over. I'm gonna take off up there. Okay.
Deputy Brown intercepted Boardman, holding him on the
Okay.
road just long enough for Deputy Brueggemann to arrive and take control of the tense situation.
Go ahead and see your hands.
Already, this deputy, who has nothing to do with what just happened with the other guy, he comes up to the car. "Let me see your hands," right? Not the kind of spirit that you want to have when you're engaging the public, right? And again, this is criticism on both sides here. Okay, we're not just saying that, you know, the police or the citizen. We both have a right. We both have a part to play in this. Both sides. Now, as to William and what he's doing, he hasn't broken any law. He hasn't done anything wrong. He doesn't have to answer to anybody. So it's not for us to agree or disagree with what he's saying, how he's saying it, what you might think or feel about how he's supposed to be interacting with the police. He's not under no obligation to say anything. He isn't.
What's that? Okay. I was asked to stop you for a minute. Yeah. Okay. I copy. I'm gonna be around up there.
So these are the results the school games winners got last month. So these are the real people, and these are their actual
That's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying to explain.
Guys, I'm not stupid. I'm not crazy. I'm getting with it. I'm tired of it.
Can you please explain that to me?
Okay. The man said, I'm not stupid. I'm not effing crazy. I'm getting ucked with and I'm tired of it. Now, for those of us who are 35, 40 years old or older with relatives or dysfunctional children or children who are, let's say, less than the apple of your eye, whom you're trying to help, but they're tugging on you and others, bills, on and on. I can certainly second that sentiment of being tired. And I think there are many men who are tired. I really do.
Hey, William, why do you hand me the keys for right now?
Like, I'm not handing my keys. You go get a real cop.
See how he's trying to kind of maneuver Williams. Oh, why don't I hand over your keys? For what? Like, there's no reason. Until now, no reasonable and articulable suspicion of him having committed any crime. So, in addition to whatever he's going through, this free man in his personal life and obvious difficulties, some things he's having a problem with, you know, allowing the register, he is now being told, give me your car keys. Imagine that.
Well, I don't want to arrest you.
Explain the whole thing there.
Are you saying you want?
No, because you won't let me make the police report on it.
Are you saying you want to go to jail?
Okay? You can turn it up.
What's that?
Listen to it. Go ahead. I'm done. You're gonna sit here and excuse all day?
Can you tell me what happened? Tell me what happened with your daughter when I was pulling up?
I don't know what's going on with my daughter.
Okay, you're not sure.
I see the way he was making his hand move. Oh man, like the like the officer was retarded or something, I guess is what he was going for. But obviously he doesn't know what's going on with his daughter, right? Who does, you know? Um and this officer seems to be trying so hard to be social worker of the year, right? Armchair psychiatrist of the year. And he's just drowning out. And bless his heart, he seems sincere and well meaning. He really does. And this is oftentimes a problem, not only in law enforcement, but in many of the things we do. Hell, even as a parent, a spouse. Oftentimes we mean well in things, but we're lacking in skills of sorts. And for those of you out there, at any age group, but particularly if you're young, and also if you're older, the reality is that you should always be learning. We should always be growing, and we should always be seeking to know more, always seeking to do better, always seeking to expand, always seeking to enrich the quality of not only our lives, but the lives of others, which is how we enrich the quality of our own lives.
I don't like it.
Okay, well, I mean, I understand. She was in your house.
Shut up. I don't have no food. And I'm pissed off and no underwear, no pants that are mine, shirts that are not mine, made in Haiti. Come on, man. I'm sick of it.
He said he's got no underwear, no hats, pants, and he got suits made in Haiti. Uh, I can't imagine. And he said he's sick of it. So I mean, obviously he's got some things going on, like the rest of us. Okay, and there may be some sensationalization there. I hope, but nonetheless, we'll take his word for it. And even still, So what? Whatever it is that's going on with him, until now, there's no real reason for him to be detained for anything. The guy's just saying, "I want to know what's going on." When even the call that he got was really about a welfare check. There's been no suspicion of a crime. Now, as to the meth use, if there was suspicion of that, like he could have, if he smelled anything or seen anything, he could have acted upon it, the officer, but nothing has been said, spoken of, or even suspected at this point.
So when I pulled up, your daughter came outside crying. I mean, I understand they were on your property and you wanted them to leave.
Yeah, and I want them to stay off.
Okay, what was said?
I walked away, officer.
You just walked away? Okay, yeah, I mean, that's what you were doing when I pulled up. You were walking away.
I know what was said.
What's that?
So how do I know what was said?
Well, I mean, you were there.
You don't even remember. Not enough. So why did they shut your electricity off? Because I'm Jake, because I put the hand on my face. Come on. You ain't. I'm gonna get out of here, boys. Okay? You can deprogram me at the gas station. I'm not going nowhere because I'm not against the law.
Give me your keys.
You're against the law. Give me your keys.
Give me your keys. Right now.
You're gonna have to take them,
I'm asking you for them.
and I'm telling you, you're gonna have to take them.
Okay. You're gonna try to drive away?
No, I'll try and drive your nose through your face.
Is that a
I'm
threat?
sick of it. No, it's not a threat. Not a threat at all. That is a promise. You're not the law. You're a bought law, and I'm not gonna go.
Okay. So what do you got for him?
Okay, so from this point on, this officer right here, that was all ego right there, right? Trying to stop him from driving off. This whole intervention, you can't go, give me your keys, right? That was all ego. Oh, and then it got even worse when he was saying, I'll drive your nose in your face and whatnot. He's like, oh, is that a threat? And he told him that's a promise, right? So at that point, he's clearly offended, even though he shouldn't be. Now, granted, he may not know the specifics of this person's background and whatnot, since he was only requested to pull him over and wait for this other guy to arrive. But clearly, he has the good old boy mentality in him running through his veins. I'm the law, right? I only know how to bully, assert, and escalate, not de-escalate, protect, and serve, right?
I'm just trying to talk to him to understand what's going on.
This guy keeps saying, I'm just trying to talk to him. Obviously, the man doesn't want to talk. He wants to leave. You guys are detaining him, and you haven't given him any reason that he should be sitting here talking to you for what exactly? You just want to know what's going on. The man keeps saying nothing's going on. He doesn't want to talk. He wants to go on his way, and you guys keep holding him. And again, I don't see anything that says, he's drunk or high out of his mind, or even that he's a bit off mentally. A lot of what he's saying makes sense to me, right? I mean, I don't talk like that, you know what I mean? But I deal with people of various backgrounds, and I don't have any offense to what he's saying. He's just living, doing his thing, right? Whether we agree with it or not, he hasn't broken any crime, and he's just cool and trying to go on his way. And we got these real heroes here, right, who just keep on insisting on asking the same question over and over again. For on the one side, and on the other side, he's got the good old boy mentality. And I can kind of I got an idea of who's going to be the one involved in the nonsense that ultimately takes this man's life at this point. I'm willing to bet that it's the good old boy there.
I'm gonna go. Well, you're not free to leave and get some food. You're not free to leave. Get your keys out of the ignition. Seriously? No. Get. Oh my God.
So here we go. The one deputy's like, what he wanted to say, I'm sure, was get off the damn car, right? Like, why would you just hold on? Why? It's not that serious for you to hold on to the side of the man's car and escalate this situation to where it's getting ready to go. But that's the guy who had his ego involved. That's the guy who believes that by defending his ego, he's defending the state. He's got his wires crossed in his head.
Stop it right now! Stop it right now! Stop it right now! I swear to God! Stop it! God damn it! Stop it! $20, Vernon. Could be in a 1080 northbound on 35. 23 hanging off the side of the suspect vehicle.
A state traffic management camera captured this section of the incident, with Boardman fleeing at a high rate of speed with Deputy Brown hanging onto the vehicle and Deputy Brueggemann giving chase in his squad.
God damn it, stop it! Stop it right now! Jesus Christ, dude! God damn it! Three shots fired!
Okay. So our fellow American William here from Wisconsin drove off, and he drew his final line when he said, "Shoot me." All right, I'm not gonna stop. I'm going, and shoot me. And it seems that that's exactly what happened. That's how things played out here, and it's unfortunate, you know. That deputy who obviously had his wires crisscrossed as far as his ego and law enforcement is concerned, and enforcing the will of the state is concerned, and held on unreasonably, in my view, unnecessarily. They could have just let the man go get his food or whatever at the gas station and continued their conversation from there when they had no real reason to detain him to begin with. So let's see how this ends here.
Jesus, dude! God damn it! What? Ah! He took off with me on the vehicle, refused to stop. We had a 1050 here, he hit 20's vehicle. He took off with me on the vehicle, refused to stop. He's out.
Shots fired?
Shots fired, dude.
Did you call shots fired?
Yes, I don't know if they heard it. Yeah, they got it.
Did you get EMS?
bitch. God damn it, dude. Driving right in traffic.
Okay, the fact that the guy's throwing up, couple of things here. Fear, it could be. Sense of regret, remorse, lack of ability to really comprehend what just happened and the extent that his own decision took him, right? Some cognitive dissonance from what just took place. I think that he got into an old school 1950s chicken match with this old school guy here, right? 61. And he had to go all the way. He had to go all the way. Now, he look. We can't tell where he shot him, but given the fact that the window was blown out on the other side, I'm likely to believe that he shot him in the head. Right now, I don't think that that was justified. I don't think he should have been on the side of his car to begin with. And I think that okay, if you're gonna pull your firearm, why not shoot him in an extremity, right? Arm, leg, shoulder. Why go for the head? You know, uh, gentlemen, older gentlemen in particular, who are tired and who have a lot going on, and perhaps you're transitioning in life, and one world is peeling away as another is unfolding, and it's giving the appearance of things not going your way, and you're tempted to just say, F it. I'd advise against that. I'd say that your life matters, and we don't want to be putting ourselves in a situation where we put our lives in the hands of these officers, because obviously they're not taking the care and concern that we would all like to think and believe that they should. They're just not. And even if they did, it wouldn't be wise ever to put your life in someone else's hands. But most certainly not as the situation is today. So let's look for better options. I don't think that this man, William, was on some suicide by cop mission. I think he was just a guy who was simple, who was tired, who was hungry, wanted to get on his way. And as a result of this officer's ego being bruised, he ended up losing his life. Now the guy's throwing up, trying to provide life-saving measures, not even able to believe what just happened.
Help me pull him out. Help me pull him out.
Stop asking research questions to ChatGPT. Its answers are not reliable.
Run back to my car. We can get the first aid shit out of it. It's in the trunk.
Despite the deputy's attempts to perform first aid and the assistance of EMS, Boardman was pronounced dead at the scene. A month-long investigation by the Wisconsin DOJ included a 316-page report with interviews, videos, dispatch recordings, and forensic evidence. The The Vernon County District Attorney eventually concluded that Deputy Brown's actions were justified and no criminal charges would be brought against him.
All right, so there it is. District attorney ruled that it was a justified killing and no further steps would be taken. I think it's tragic. I don't think the officer left his home that morning with the intent on killing anybody. I think that both of those officers were lacking in soft skills, were lacking in people skills, and were lacking in de-escalation skills. I do think they were on opposite ends of the spectrum. No, the deputy seemed, the first one seemed well-meaning and sincere, polite, and really just wanted to kind of look out for the guy's interest and get his side of the story to try to piece it together and solve a problem that the man wasn't really interested in you solving for him. He just wanted to live his life and go about his way. So, gentlemen, people, we got to do better. We really do. I don't think this man is too far off from where the average one amongst us is. Not to say that we're on drugs and not to say that he was on drugs. He seemed fine to me at that time, at least. But people are tired, especially these days. And it won't take much to send people over the edge. And take care of yourself, right? Don't put your life in anyone's hands. Ladies, moms, sisters, wives, daughters, if you feel that there's something going on and you'd like a welfare check, I'd advise think not only once, not only twice, but a minimum of thrice about calling the police to do a welfare check on your relative whom you love and whom you would like to see live a long and healthy life. Especially if it's some kind of a mental health thing. You really want to think long and hard about that. And as an alternative, we may start to want to think about having better relationships with neighbors, friends, family members, PCA, CNA, different people who we can have as options to help us out, especially if you just want to send somebody by. Community community organizations, neighborhood watch even would be a better option to do a welfare check than the police. Again, if you're interested in that relative living a relatively long and happy life, if there's anything to do with mental health, the last people you want to call is the police. And even if it's not mental health, the woman, Sonia Massey, who was shot over a pot of boiling water when she told the guy that I rebuke you in the name of Jesus, and he shot her, talking about he thought that that was a sign that she was going to throw water on him. Shot her, bled out while the boiling water hit the floor and fell on her. She called the police because she thought she heard something. So, folks, this notion of the police being there as a means to protect you, it may be time that we reconsider that. And it may be time for us to take another look at our approach to not only our own safety, but the safety of our loved ones and our communities. Stay safe.